On this episode of Geek Dad Life, we're going to review the Prince Adam and Sky Sled 2-pack from the new Masters of the Universe Origins line by Mattel. Hi everybody, and welcome to Geek Dad Life. It's your host, Jay Glaffelter here. We have had so much fun reviewing all of the figures and beasts and now vehicles from the new Masters of the Universe Origins line by Mattel. We have reviewed all the first wave figures as well as the Battle Cat, and that leaves just this set, the Prince Adam and Sky Sled 2-pack, the most expensive set out of this first wave of toys from the MOTU Origins line, coming in at $29.99. This channel shares the nostalgic passions of an 80s and 90s kid that grew up to be a geek dad, so be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and click on that bell icon to be notified when the latest episode of Geek Dad Life drops. The Prince Adam and Sky Sled set, as I mentioned earlier, is the biggest item in this first wave of figures for the MOTU Origins line, and it really shows that way. It's the biggest packaging, it has the most artwork, and it has the most to offer with a Sky Sled with interchangeable parts to make it a good guy vehicle or a bad guy vehicle, and then you have this awesome Prince Adam figure modeled after his Filmations and vintage figure appearance. I love that one of the first vehicles, the first vehicle we're getting in this line, is the Sky Sled, which is one half of the Battle Ram, one of the first vehicles released with the Masters of the Universe line, featured in the very first mini-comic. The Sky Sled was frequently shown in the Filmations cartoon, and that's where we kind of got these alternating versions of the Sky Sled, with the more eagle-faced version that the heroes would use, and the more snake-faced version that the evil warriors would use. For the figure that comes with this set, we get a very Filmation-esque Prince Adam. Now, we've already gotten a Prince Adam in the Masters of the Universe Origins line. He actually was packed in with that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 2-pack at last year's Comic-Con. Now, that Prince Adam was molded and based off of his mini-comics appearance, and there was a mini-comic that was included with that package set. So it featured the look that was seen in the mini-comics, which differed greatly to the version that we got in the Filmations cartoon. It's great that we're getting this version of Prince Adam for the MOTU Origins line because the vintage Prince Adam figure was based off his Filmations appearance. One of the rare examples where the figure matched the cartoon more than the mini-comic. Looking at the packaging, we have what I think is my favorite artwork so far in the line. It is a full-on battle between the heroic warriors and the evil warriors. We have Prince Adam on his Sky Sled with Man-at-Arms and the Wing Raider behind him, as well as it looks like kind of two royal guards on some Sky Sleds. And then we've got Battle Armor Skeletor in Roton, as well as Faker and Trapjaw on the snaked face version of the Sky Sled. I mean, just a really awesome kind of big wide picture here. It's utilizing the biggest box so far in the line to give us just some great artwork. And then kind of on the top of that flap, we have Castle Grayskull. Looks like we have Manny Faces at the laser cannon on the top. We also got this kind of generic horned bad guy. And then we have Merman, and then we have Stratos. Then we have some other random creatures. We got Tila on here. I mean, it's just so much going on. We have Tila going against Beastman. I kind of go across the corner here. Just so much great detail on the front of this packaging. I absolutely love it. And unlike the Battle Cat, it is wholly unique to this line, where the Battle Cat packaging on the front was definitely trying to evoke all of the feels from that original Battle Cat packaging. This one has the freedom to just kind of be its own thing, and I hope as the MOTU Origins lines continue to grow and evolve, it allows itself to kind of do something new like this set has done. Looking at the back of the packaging, it looks like we kind of have a continuation of the battle that we got on the front of the packaging. Now in the back, it looks like Man-at-Arms crashed the Wind Raider, now is fighting Trapjaw on land, and it looks like Prince Adam is ramming Battle Armor Skeletor with Beastman looking on, and we have the Castle Grayskull off in the distance. So really love how this packaging is telling a story. I think it's so cool. It's just big kudos all around to the Mattel team that has done the MOTU Origins line in this artwork. The rest of the back follows the same feel of the rest of this line. We have square cutouts kind of diagramming the different things you can do with this set. This one focuses on the Sky Sled, that you can switch it out from being, you know, a heroic warrior Sky Sled to an evil warrior Sky Sled. And then we also have cross-cell artwork. Much like Battle Cat, we not only get the first 6 figures from this wave, but we also get artwork for the Prince Adam and Sky Sled set, as well as Battle Cat. Taking this set out of the packaging, let's first focus on the Sky Sled. It looks great. I was kind of curious, you know, even in pictures I realized it was not the same as the Masters of the Universe Classics version of the Sky Sled, aka Battle Ram. But I wondered if maybe there'd be like shared tooling or anything like that. But no, it is a completely unique mold, which is great. And what I really like about this Sky Sled versus the Classics version is that it allows you the ability to switch between the evil version and the heroic version, versus the Classics, you know, you had to buy 2 separate sets to get either one. So, you know, if you're army building these, you can buy a few and, you know, adjust them to kind of fit your need, which is pretty neat. The other thing too is, since we got Battle Cat, you know, we actually haven't really gotten a full-fledged evil vehicle yet. So this ability to switch it out for, you know, the eagle head, for the snake head, and then the different stickers along the sides really lets you kind of have an evil vehicle to go with your evil warriors, which is a good thing. So if we subtract the roughly $15 that the figure would cost, we're left with about $15 for the actual vehicle. So the question becomes, does it feel like it has $15 worth of value? And I think it does. And the parts that make it that way for me is the actual mold and build itself, the quality. It feels good in hand. It is a lighter plastic vehicle, but it adds a lot of cool features that I think enhances its value. One of those is the actual kind of separate gun cannons. The front one is adjustable, which is great. It even comes with this blast effect, which is awesome. And then the stickers that they have, like, while there is not a lot of stickers, I think they do the job well. And then, you know, you have the side panels that are removable to the evil and heroic version. And then you have the little sticker there on the control panel, which is pretty cool. Now, if you're comparing that to the Classics one, it was all sculpted and painted, which is a premium quality add-on there. But again, this is, you know, if we're saying under $15 for this and all the different accessories and be able to swap it out, I think we are getting some good value here. Not only that, but we're also getting a flight stand or a display stand for it too. So, you know, don't underestimate the value of that. So you have the flight stand, which allows it to kind of be posed in multiple different variations of display, you know, pointing down, pointing up, pointing to the side. So for those that are great at displaying their figures, you're gonna have a lot of options with that included display stand. And much like the artwork for the packaging that was so different from the vintage releases, this one has a lot of differences from the vintage counterpart, which I think is great. I love the larger cannon here. It's very different from the vintage figure, as well as the 2 little side cannons, the exhaust pipes on the back. I think it all looks really cool. Now, there is some allusion to maybe this being able to fit into a larger battle ram. That is yet to be seen. I hope they do make a battle ram. But on its own, I think it looks great, and it fits right in with the other Classics figures, and its ability to kind of swap in and out with different versions and different looks is awesome. Going side by side with the original Sky Sled portion of the Battle Ram, it's obviously that it's influenced by, but this one definitely can stand on its own as its origins version. Which is great, because the vintage one is really, it's just a part of a larger vehicle, and it works, but it's not what it was mainly intended to do. It's like almost like an effect or a feature of a larger vehicle. This one being focused on just being the Sky Sled, I think allows it to have some really cool features that set it apart and let it be its own unique vehicle, which I think is great. Now, looking at the Prince Adam figure, I think he is fantastic. If you have seen the other He-Man figures, this one follows all the Masters of the Universe Prince Adams that have come before. It utilizes the same buck, same tooling as the He-Man figure, but we have it casted in some different colors as well as painted in some different colors. And yeah, it follows that same mold, same head sculpt. You do get an additional kind of weapons holding hand versus the standard retail release of He-Man, which has kind of the shield holding open hand. So that is one variation. It also has more of the tan look compared to the normal He-Man versus the Comic-Con exclusive pack. The Prince Adam was a lot paler. He comes in at about that, 5.75 inches height, same as the other male figures in the Origins line. And his accessory is one lone power sword. You can count his vest as another accessory, even though I'm not brave enough to remove it. Looking closer at the power sword, this follows the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set where the power sword is one whole power sword. So it's not halves of the power sword like the actual retail release of He-Man and the first release of Skeletor. And then the vintage figure was two halves of the power sword. It only had one of them. So this is unique in that it's one whole molded power sword, but it is in that pink deco, much like the vintage figure. Now, the whole power sword mold for the Origins line, the handle is really large. Now, again, that follows a lot of the other accessories we've seen so far in the Origins line, but I noticed with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Prince Adam that the handle's so large that it really stretches out the hand of the Prince Adam figure. So maybe they had to make it that big so that it would hold, but I feel like it's too big. So maybe in future releases of the, complete power sword, they can make the handle a little bit smaller. I don't think it needs to be that large. Another thing here that I wish they would have added is an ability to hold the power sword on the vest. It was something the Classics figure had, which was a nice add to the figure. This one doesn't have anything, so there's no way to hold the power sword behind this Prince Adam figure. So that's something that I wish they would have added. Going side by side to a vintage Prince Adam figure, you can see how much more colorful the Origins version of this Prince Adam is. Now, that your mileage may vary on how you like that or not, but I really like the color popping here. And again, I appreciate when this line has deviated, not completely from the vintage line, because it's obviously inspired about it, but I like it when it goes and does something different from the vintage line. I think this one sets it apart, gives it that Filmation feel, gives it that really great toy look and feel that I really dig with the Origins line. So I really like it when comparing it to the vintage Prince Adam figure. Overall, I really dig this Prince Adam figure, more so than the one that came with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set from last year. Mainly because I really like the colors. I like how it is obviously inspired by the vintage, but it's doing its own thing with this Origins line, and I think it looks great on a shelf with the other Origins figures. I also like that it's a pack-in versus a separate carded figure, mainly because, it's a reuse of a sculpt that we already have in He-Man. While we have, a different color casted power sword, or one whole power sword, and you have the vest, it's still a He-Man figure. So it's nice to not only get this figure, but also get a really awesome newly sculpted Sky Sled as well. I know it may be sounding like a broken record at this point, but this set absolutely gets a Geek Dad Life buy rating. I think at the sub $30 price point here, if you're thinking you get a new figure as well as a new vehicle with a bunch of accessories, I think it matches its price point really, even more so than the Battle Cat. So really, really dig it. And overall, when you include it as part of this entire first wave of releases from Masters of the Universe Origins by Mattel, I think this set meets the expectations of being the biggest set in this first wave of releases from Masters of the Universe Origins. I have now reviewed every release from the first wave of Masters of the Universe Origins by Mattel, and I am happy to say that I am over the moon for this series. When I reviewed just the He-Man and Skeletor, I said I was all in, and I am doubly so now. I'm really excited and pumped for this line. I hope that this thing is super successful so that we can get as many characters and figures from the Masters of the Universe. Coming up for this line, we have the PowerCon exclusive She-Ra and the Lords of Power set that'll be coming out. That set will feature prototype versions of Merman, Man-at-Arms, Skeletor, Beastman, and He-Man. I have pre-ordered that, and we will be reviewing it on this channel, as well as that awesome She-Ra figure. Really am digging that one. So we'll be reviewing those here on this channel, and then I am sure we will get more details about future retail releases for the Masters of the Universe Origins line this weekend. They're doing kind of online PowerCon panels where Mattel will probably give us a lot of the details that we would have gotten if San Diego Comic-Con happened. If this is the first video checked out or you miss any of my other reviews for this line, definitely click on this playlist right here. It has every single one that I've done so far, and it'll also have any other future videos about this toy line. We'll see you next time. Hasta luego and goodbye.